Peace to all. I hope that all are staying warm during these frigid days. But besides the cold and the snow, there's so much upsetting news these days. In such a climate, contemplation is, I believe, no longer a luxury reserved just for monks and mystics. It has become, I think, for most of us, all of us, a spiritual necessity. To be contemplative does not mean to withdraw from this world of chaos. It means to see the world truthfully. It means cultivating an interior stillness. Here we are no longer driven by every headline, every emotion, every demand. But then with this, we're grounded in the presence of God with contemplation. The contemplative person isn't passive. On the contrary, contemplation forms people who act with clarity and compassion and courage. Because if you're contemplative, our actions flow from depth rather than impulse. Scripture constantly shows that God speaks not in chaos, but in silence. Elijah does not encounter the Lord in the wind or the earthquake or the fire, but in the still, small voice. Jesus himself repeatedly withdraws to lonely places to pray. If the Son of God required silence and solitude to remain rooted in his mission, how much more do we need it? I think that without a contemplative life, we become reactive rather than reflective. We begin to absorb the spirit of the age, the fear, the anger, the division, the exhaustion. But if we become contemplative, we learn to dwell in a different atmosphere. We begin to see others not as problems to solve or opponents to defeat, but persons to struggle to love. We begin to perceive our lives not as burdens to manage, but vocations, real vocations to live. Thomas Merton once wrote that contemplation is the awakening, the discovery of who we really are. In this chaotic world that constantly tells us who to be, what to buy, what to fear, contemplation can return us to who we truly are, that we are beloved sons and daughters of a loving God. The world does not need more frantic activity from the church. It needs a rooted presence. It needs people whose peace is unshakable because it's anchored in prayer. To become contemplative today is not to escape all the chaos that's going on around us. It's to enter it more deeply, carrying within us a quiet strength, and especially the light of Christ. In the end, I believe that contemplation is an act of hope. It declares that beneath all the chaos, all the noise, all the suffering, God is still speaking, and that those who learn to listen, then we become instruments of God's peace. Have a peaceful week. Stay warm and stay safe, everyone.